Guys, we are recording. Hello everybody, welcome to this chat about plateaus in mantrailing, and it probably applies to most dog training in general. My name is Catherine Jones. I'm one of the head instructors for Mantrailing UK. I'm also their supervisor. I've been mantrailing now for about three and a half, kind of 4 years. I'm mantrailing with several dogs and doing it for fun with dog training. I'm here tonight with Joleen Carter, who will hopefully pop up for a second. There we go. Joleen, introduce yourself.
So I am Joleen. I have been, a door's going to slam in 2 seconds, so apologise already. I am coming up to 2 years being an instructor with Mantrailing UK. And prior to that, I trained my own dogs for probably about 2 years, a year, something like that. So my background is, I don't know why, but I still class myself as a pet dog handler first and an instructor second. So whenever I'm referencing stuff, it's often how I've trailed with my own guys, and then I talk as an instructor after that. So thank you everyone for joining. I hope you find it interesting, and we'll crack on with plateaus.
So when we reference anything today, we are both instructors for Mantrailing UK. We will generally mention the Mantrailing UK way of doing things. So if something specific comes up and you trail in a different way, it's absolutely fine, doesn't make a difference. But we're generally going to talk about it as a sports, a fun pet sports that we do with our pet dog owners. And if we reference anything, it will be the Mantrailing UK way. And go from there. We both have very different backgrounds within dog training, but we work together really, really often. Me and Joleen have a blast. And what we've noticed, especially, well, with ourselves, to be fair, was the first time we noticed it, we've hit a plateau where we've got so far in our training. And I found quite a good quote. It's about sport, but it does work quite well, and it kind of explains what we're doing. And the quote I've got is, a plateau in training is defined as a stage of progress where your body gets used to the demands of your current fitness routine, which causes your fitness to level out. Now, when we talk about plateaus, we're talking about the dog reaching a point where it goes, I'm not going to do this anymore, or this is too hard, or this is too easy. And the same with the handlers going, you're not challenging me enough, or you're challenging me too much. Generally, we're probably going to mention plateaus as you got to the point where you think you're on top of the world, shit's hit the fan, and you've gone, I'm the worst handler in the whole world. I can't do this. The world's going to end. Why did I decide to become an instructor? What a stupid idea this was. I'm going to get another dog. I gave up on Spaniels. I gave them German Shepherds. I'm going to buy a Malinois. And it's that kind of moment where you go, shit, I'm not good enough. My dog's not good enough. And you have this generally a negative feeling about it. And me and Joleen especially have both been at this point. I've got a very, very fast Springer. Who I did loads and loads of intensity when I got him. It's my first dog I completely fucked up because he's a really low drive shepherd. I pushed him too fast and he didn't like it. So when I got my Springer, I said, hey, you know what? We're going to do loads of intensity and loads and drive on this dog. He's going to be really fast. Yeah, he's really fast. He's death-defyingly fast and dangerously fast. And we reached a point around his level 1 assessment where I couldn't read him, I couldn't work him, he didn't know what I wanted to do, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and it all went a bit tits up. And you just had that moment where I went, what am I doing here? I don't know where I'm going, forwards or backwards, up or down. And I found that very difficult to get past, and it was speaking to the instructors was the only way I got past. But then I started to notice it in my clients, hitting around the level 1 stage. Joleen, you had something similar with your rabble.
Yeah, so for my rabble, I think, and also because I'm quite a sensitive person, so I talk about how if anyone's seen me trail, I've got a working line German Shepherd. He looks the dog's nuts. He's as soft as crap. And yeah, I just swore on the recording, but never mind.
I don't mind. All of them will be probably too much food, but that's all good.
Who's unmuted themselves? Because I don't need to know about your food.
It's skin the chicken first.
Right, who's unmuted?
It didn't say to do.
Alison,
mute yourself.
I think.
Yeah, it's popped up. Right, carry on. Sorry. Otherwise we get back.
So I noticed it as well, that sometimes when we hit a plateau in myself, I came away with a negative feeling. And you kind of get this high when you first start trailing, and you think, oh my god, this is amazing, my dog's amazing, I really enjoy this. And then you reach a stage where your trail gets a bit harder and you come away with a slightly negative feeling, thinking, oh, actually this is a lot harder than I thought it was, and I've got to put a lot more effort into it, or a lot more energy into it, or it's no longer the case that you sort of just go and you sort of follow your dog. You actually have to think about it, and it becomes more like a team, I think, is where people start to reach a plateau where the dog and the handler sort of reach a similar level, and it becomes more of a team for me. So when you first start, the dogs sort of take the lead, or we ask you for the dogs to allow the dogs to take the lead, because it's them that has to learn the game, as we speak of mantrailing. And then after a while, the handlers have to step up, and that's where you often find it. For me, watching the clients and the guys that trail with me, like you said, it's often when you're coming up to an assessment time. If you're trailing with us, it's usually sort of 12 sessions in, something like that. We'll either do a trail and it'll be just a bit more difficult than it has been before, or something will crop up on the trail, like a distraction, and it will just mean that that trail doesn't always flow like your last previous trails have, and you'll just won't always come away with that massive high that you normally do, and you'll just come away feeling a little bit flumped, I think, sometimes.
I call it like a sluggy feeling. You go, oh right, okay, and it feels heavy on you depending on how emotional you are. And I think you hit the nail on the head before, actually, with it, when you talk about when you first start, there's loads of success, and that's that higher success. And it's that when you start mantrailing, it's like, yeah, your dog's bollocks, your dog just did this, you did that, you're amazing, wow, everything's awesome. And we get the dog addicted to the game, and we get you as the handlers immediately addicted to their game because it's a huge success. And you see a dog thrive, and you thrive, and we're throwing out compliments left, right and centre. We're telling you the best dog team we've ever seen, and they are genuinely true. Like, we're not doing we're telling you you're awesome because you are. Then you get to the point where we go, right, it's your turn to lead, what's your dog doing? And you'll go, what? Or we put your dog in a situation where we've got to push it forwards a little bit, so we push it past, we start doing something urban or a junction or a longer trail or an age trail or on a really windy day, and you hit that point and you go, oh my god, I'm not successful anymore, and your brain goes, you haven't got that high, it's negative, it's wrong. And it is addictive behavior. It's like when you work with behavior cases, or if you've had to give up something addictive like smoking or cigarettes or chocolate, which I will never give up. It's very hard for your brain not to have that, and you will become difficult, or your brain will cloud up because you want that feeling, and it'll get it by hook or by crook. And mantrailing is all about the success of the dog and you as a team, and the second that doesn't happen, it can make your brain go, what the fuck. And it comes crashing down big time, and it makes a lot of people go and back out of the sport, and which we don't want. It's normal. The first thing I really should be said about all this is it's really normal. We've all seen that photo of like, oh, dog training is, and it's a little squiggly line, it's a little cyclist, it's like dog training's this. Nothing is linear, nothing does this in life ever. Even within statistics, nothing is a straight line. We just look at a straight line. Everything does this. And mantrailing is very much like that. But the problem is at the beginning, we tend to have this, we get to this nice little high, we have a great big crash, and then we do this. And if you're not ready for that great big crash, or your instructor hasn't got you ready for it, or isn't aware of it, or you're a very sensitive person, that feels like the depths of hell. So don't panic about it. It's normal. It's just a bit sad. It's a bit horrible.
And that's the whole reason for the chat, really, is we wanted to say this is actually a normal occurrence, and it's not just in mantrailing, it's in any form of dog sports. So it's in like agility, you'll do like if you ever learn agility, you'll do your contacts, you'll do a few runs. Then if you're ever going to look to compete, there might be a time where your dog just doesn't get the contacts, or it's something simple. So when we're talking about success, we don't mean that the dog hasn't found the runner or the trail there at the end. We're just talking about a difficulty that you probably haven't experienced before, and that trail might have been more difficult for any particular reason, and that's where you sometimes reach a plateau.
that can kind of lead on to when we talk about Mantrailing UK method, there's like the intensity start, delayed start, the article start, and they're kind of levels that build up to each other. One thing that we can see a lot of times is when people get so far, so they're on a scent article start, the dog comes out of the vehicle, there's nobody there already, it does a ritual, no ritual, whatever, depends on the situation you do within Mantrailing, and it gets halfway on the trail and it turns to its handler and it goes, I haven't got a fucking clue what I'm looking for, I don't know what we're about here. And we'll say, all right, so let's do a delayed start. Let's take this dog a step back, or hell breaks loose. Probably 50% of handlers, I say to them, let's take a step back, go, why? My dog can do it. And they become quite defensive, or on the flip side, they get very, very upset that I've said take the word back. Now, back is the worst word to say. It makes you think like, oh, I've hit this plateau, my dog's doing awesome, and now you want me to go backwards, and it feels like you've fallen off the edge of the plateau into a ravine and smacked in the bottom of it, and it's that horrible feeling. And it's not, the word back is it's the right word for the description of it, but it's the wrong word for what you actually mean. What we usually mean is just reinforce the foundations. We've made it really hard, so why would we make it harder to get past it? So like I'm going to use Nero as an example with going through bushes and things. He's a very, very sensitive German Shepherd. There's no way 3-4 months ago he would take Joleen through a bush. He's standing in the bushes, go, they might be in there, but it's prickly, and mummy won't come with me.
So if we're describing Nero, it's because he doesn't want to drag me through the bush. It's not because he won't go himself.
Yeah, he threw himself in.
Yeah.
He's so handler sensitive. Unlike the spaniels we work, who are like, fuck off dickhead, we're going for that bush, if you can't keep up, drop the line, that's your own fault. And he's such a nice dog to watch work, but he's very sensitive to Joleen, and like that was a plateau for you. He wouldn't take you through it, so we went, right, let's build intensity, let's make him want to drag you through it to get to reward. It wasn't a step back, because that dog's perfectly capable of trailing. What it was saying to him, it's okay to do these things. And that was a plateau. That was a point where he went, I've got to this point, I'm not going any further, but I'm also not going to take myself backwards. So we had to step in as instructors, as handlers, to go, this is our next stage to get past that plateau. So plateau can be a boredom thing. It can be, I got to this point and I need to be worked harder. It isn't always I got to this point and it's too hard. It can be, you haven't been pushed enough in the right way or in the right environments. But generally what we're talking about tonight is when you have that horrible sinking feeling like the world's ending, because your dog didn't find the misper in a way that basically didn't find it without you.
Basically your blue line didn't match your red line if you use the Mantrailing.
Yeah.
That's where it normally goes wrong.
Yeah, you go, how did we get here? And we go, there's no scent blown this way. So the dog fell on the misper. Well done. And you don't want to go home sadly. You want to look at the positives of anything, and there is positives and negatives. I think it's really important as well when we're talking about it, if you agree as well, Joleen, is that there is positives and negatives. So even if you hit the plateau and you think the world's ending, it's a learning situation. So with puppy. Sorry, the pup. I've got Malamar puppy here. He's got a penchant for cardboard boxes, and I can hear a cardboard box shuffling. Phantom, no, that's got stuff in it. So he's trying to nick, currently nick booklets. Apologies, guys. I've lost a train of thought. Positives, negatives. When shit hits the fan, it's a learning situation. So when you hit a plateau and you go, I can't do this, that trail was shite. Oh my God, you go home and cry, have a large gin, usually a large bar of chocolate for me. Collect another dog. It's my therapy. You just go, it's gone wrong, it's wrong. When you come back down to cloud, off cloud crazy and think about it, you go, okay, so it went wrong, so where's the learning here? What did I do wrong as a handler? Was the trail set up incorrectly, and can we learn from that? It doesn't mean the instructor's got it wrong. It just means we pushed a little bit further forward than maybe you were ready for, or we put you in an environment that your dog wasn't comfortable with at that point. A lot of times I've had plateaus in my clients when there's external factors. We've had dogs come to sessions that are really tired and they've had a poor trail, or they've been doing a little bit other sports, or it's just the wrong environment for that dog, a sensitive dog in the middle of town centre. just hasn't worked. Just hasn't worked for that dog. So finding the positives in the negatives is really important. I don't know if you agree as well, Joleen, that when shit is a fan, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I think when I wonder why I'm a German Shepherd so sensitive when we're talking now, and I'm quite an emotional, feely person. So when I trail, I want you guys to feel that high, and I want you to come away with that euphoric high. There's nothing better than you doing a trail, a single blind trail, where you don't know where the trail layer's gone, and you go there, and it's almost like you glide, and your dog's bang on, and you've got it. And then the next session you come out, you bring your dog out the car, and it just hasn't gone as brilliant as it can. So I'm quite a feely person. I want all my clients that train with me to feel that high, to feel that bond with their dogs while you're doing man trailing, because that's essentially what you're working on, is that bond. But yeah, there is always something to learn. So even if your dog skipped a corner off a trail, or they took a wrong turn and threw you a negative and came back, or why didn't my dog just choose the right turn to start with, there's always something to learn from any trail that hasn't gone successfully. So if the dog has taken a wrong turn, you know what the body language is like then when they've done it, if they're not on trail to if they are on trail. There's always something you can just pull apart and pick out from any trailing session. And if you have a good coach, a good mentor, a good instructor, you should be able to depict, even on a trail that may have been harder, even on a trail that was even on an easy trail that was successful, there's always something to take away from it, and there's always learning from it. And that's what the plateau is. It's just a learning curve, really. And the more it's talked about, and the more the fact that people are more aware of it.
But I don't actually want to eat them because I don't like the hard bit in the middle of them.
Right, whose sound is on? I don't know what you want to eat in the hard bit in the middle, but you can eat it.
Oh well.
Right, Alison, just mute yourself.
Okie dokie.
Cool. Sorry, go on, Julie.
Yeah, so there's just always something to take away from it, and the more we discuss it and the more that it is out there, and especially with like pet dog people, and I don't mean that in a derogatory term. I'm a pet dog person. I got a working line shepherd. I had to do something with him because that's what he needed, and that's how we found man trailing. And it's those highs and those then some slightly harder tweaky bits that give you that lows. But the more we discuss it, the more it just becomes a normal thing, and the more we just then put like a positive spin on it. So like you said, we've had a trail that was a bit harder, but we learnt loads from it. And you just then go forward to put it through, so that it's just a normal. So then you don't have those massive highs and lows, you just have a continuous learning. And that's how you're going to go about your training, really.
And also remember, as general dog, some people on here are instructors, some people here are operational professionals, most people here are just man trailing fun. Your instructors fuck up too. They have plateaus. Don't think we're invincible. We've all been there, and it's upsetting, it's distressing. It's even worse for us because the world's going to end if we get it wrong, because we can't trail our own dogs. So I had a situation with Captain, my Springer, having loads of good stuff, did a double blind in just the wrong environment, the wrong wind. He was never going to trail right. It was all set up by us wrong, by me and the instructors. It was a big learning curve on think about the environment more. You always think about it, but think about it more. Where we did double blind, and he would have never found the person by the way the wind was going. It was never going to happen. And had it been, say I decided to go operational eventually, if that had been an operational search, we would have sent dog people in the wrong direction. And that's all I think about, was like, if it went wrong, I was in the wrong direction, because the wind was never going to allow it. But what I learned from that was a new negative that he's consistently done since. So Captain's entire male Springer, he will pee on trails, and yeah, he'll piss on the trail. He's boy. He likes to. He lives with loads of German Shepherds, so he thinks he's dog bollocks. He thinks he's a German Shepherd or a Rottweiler or something. And I found that he was multiply peeing. So if he peed 2 or more times, it was a negative. It wasn't a displacement. It wasn't anything else. It was a negative. He's never done that prior. So without me royally dropping a bollock there and making it a huge problem and making that whole situation a mistake, I would never have learned about a negative. Now he consistently shows that, and it's a really clear negative for me to work with. Had I not hit that plateau, had I not beat myself up, had I not sat there and taken that trail apart to work out where it went wrong, I would have not have noticed it consistently. And it's now something I notice consistently, and I actually see my client's dog more consistently. And I had to drop that bollock, and I had to make it go wrong, by right or wrong, whether it was accident or otherwise, in order to learn that thing. Because if I don't make mistakes, I don't get better. If my clients don't hit plateaus, I know that I'm not, if it's way too easy and you're not hitting the plateau, you're not being pushed enough as well. If you're just breezing through mantrailing, there's potential that either you just got a really shit hot dog, you lucky bastard, or it's
Want to swap it for a
spaniel or a bloodhound or a hound of some sort, usually, something that's scent driven, and you've just got it right. Great. If you're feeling overconfident, expect shit to hit the fan in the next couple of sessions. I'm sorry, it's going to happen, because it's normal and it should be happening to you periodically. You periodically should be hitting a plateau, because not only is that your dog's learning, that's your learning. And as we all know, life is not, again, linear. Life is full of twists and turns, and the second you think you've got the shit sorted, something smacks you in the face, like COVID, like some hot weather that something smacks in the face, and we're all having to realize how our businesses run differently, all those kind of things. And it's the same with dog training. When you're man training, if you're breezing through it, you're either likely not doing it hard enough, or your instructor's lying to you. No, it's not. Your instructor's not lying to you. You're doing great. Yeah, you found a whisper.
It's that saying, isn't there? There's no learning in your comfort zone, and you want to almost, when you reach plateau, it's probably because we've either pushed you out of your comfort zone, or you've not been pushed out of your comfort zone, and you need to evolve as a team. You need to become more of a team together, and the dog, you and the dog might arrive on your journey at different levels. So as a handler, you might start and your dog might be absolutely amazing. They've got the game of man trailing, they're finding the whispers, you're getting there with your windswept hair and your hat's in the bush, and you haven't got a clue how you got there or where you've gone to get there, or which direction. And then and you might feel a bit lower because your line handling was rubbish and you got it wrapped around or you dropped it. But then also what might happen then is you might step up a bit. So you might take the lead as a handler, and you might have your line in check, and you might be hot on it, and you might understand the differences of what line lengths you need in certain situations and things like that. You're not always going to arrive at the same destination, the end goal, whether it be fun, operational, or whatever, at the same time. And that's also good to know. And I was speaking to some ladies today that I was trailing, and they said that the first few sessions that they felt awful. They didn't know what they were doing with the line. It was all a bit caggy handed, and then after a while they sort of fitted in and it became more of a flow, and that's all it is really. It's just, you might hit plateaus at different places, but yeah, they are going to come. It's going to come at some point, and it's just to expect it really, and just have a good team to work with.
And that's like linking on that, not the blame game. If things go wrong, don't go, well, it's the dog, or I got it wrong, or it's my instructor, or it's the way I trail. It's normal. You know, you can tweak things. Sometimes it is your shitty line handling. That's fine. You get better because someone will go to you, you got a knot again, seriously, come on, and you practice. Or it's putting your dog in a position where you go, oh, you know, this is way too hard, let's do some blade, let's have some fun, let's throw some intensity back in here, let's do some straight trails one good turn in rather than 15 turns 500 miles long. It might be the instructor you're working with, as like all of us, got a little bit blind to what you're doing and kind of gone, yeah, it's fine, but hasn't experienced out, which is one of the reasons.
Well, somehow I've done it.
Right, who's done what?
Somehow I've joined a Zoom meeting. I think it's
Who's
really
joined a Zoom meeting? You're not muted, and I can't see who you are. If you just joined on iPhone, can you just mute yourself? I don't know who it is, doesn't say.
Best button again today, I think.
Put yourself on mute.
There's other
Put it on mute, if not, just
possible position today.
I think it matters where it goes with the next one though, from here, does it? You might as well try the Hail Mary.
technology. Don't, like turn to the instructor and blame them, and you know, and look at them and go, oh, why don't you know? Because they do know. They just, sometimes we get bogged down with things and go, oh shit, we made a mistake, and talk to each other and go, oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do with this client. Because when you put on the spot, it's hard work. Don't suddenly go, right, I'm gonna change the whole way I trail, I'm gonna do this and this, and change everything and confuse yourself and the dogs and everybody else around you. Take a little bit of something and go, okay, dog found that trail hard, so what do I need to do? Change the environment, maybe not trail urban or only trail urban. Maybe I need to change the reward. Maybe I need to have a chat with my instructor about an actual plan of action and just get clarity in my head. Maybe I just need a bit of clarity about where I'm going to be in the next 3 or 4 sessions. Please don't play the blame game with yourself or other people. That's not going to help you. There are points where things go wrong and there are genuine mistakes in life. But when we're talking about plateaus, it's not a mistake. It's a natural occurrence that happens. It is always worth speaking to the instructors. When we refer to Mantrailing UK, we should all trail in a very similar way, but we all have different knowledge. I don't do anything to do operational, never going to claim any knowledge on that, but we have other instructors that do. My background is in security dogs and drugs dogs, so I have a scent background operationally within that, but I don't do that anymore. Me and Joleen have very similar breeds. We have spaniels, we have high drive shepherds. I've got a Malinois Dutch herder and too many dogs, and so we have that kind of in common. But we might speak to another instructor who, I think she's on tonight, who has Dachshunds. I know feck all about Dachshunds. I have Dachshunds that trail with me. I have hounds that trail with me that are amazing. But so speaking to another instructor who's got breed knowledge or got knowledge of those problems, high drive dogs, low drive dogs, how, you know, it can help sometimes. Or asking your instructor, hey, could you get some information on this? They will come and hive mind with hopefully other instructors, and talk about things. We have with the Mantrailing UK, we have a private guild that all our instructors are in, and every week a question will pop up. My client's doing this, what do you think? And we'll hive mind it to help you get past your plateau, to help you increase your skills as a handler. Everything about Mantrailing for fun is about maintaining the fun, and what we don't want is people to consistently hit plateaus and fail. Fail's the wrong word, but fail's the right word to describe it. You never fail Mantrailing. You can't do it when you're doing it for fun. It's never a failure what we do for sport, because we always find the person. Operationally, that's different, and I'm not going to talk about that because it's nothing to do with me. I do not have any knowledge on that. But what we're not talking about is failure. What we're talking about is not getting to the goal in a way that you expected. Is that
it's expectations. It's managing expectations.
Yeah.
And that's, so as an instructor for me, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to put this on, is it's managing expectations. And I suppose it's, like I said before, I talk as a dog handler first and an instructor second. My instructor, my mentors, people who work with me should put a plan in place to help me manage my expectations. I know that's not up to them to do that, but if you don't have a plan and you don't have goals to achieve to and work to, then your plateau is probably going to feel a lot more. Whereas if you're working towards a specific goal or you have something to achieve, then when you do hit a plateau, it will just be a learning curve. It will just be something a bump in the road to continue on, and to work through. There's a really good quote, and it's got a swear word in it, so I'm not sure if I should say it, but
how many swears have I squared already? Just go for it. we're way past that point. We're after 7 o'clock, so after the watershed, is it? So we're fine.
Yeah. It's just about planning and preparation. So you need to plan, otherwise you'll have piss poor performance, basically. And that goes for both, for everybody in the team. I think when you're doing trailing, I think the trail layers equally as important. If they don't take instruction right, they basically hold in their hands the success sometimes of that dog that's working in front of them. If they don't reward the dog right, if they don't take instruction right, if they take a wrong turn, obviously mistakes are going to happen, stuff like that. But it's equally important as the team. It's not just the handler and the dog, it's the handler, the dog, the trail layer that's in front of you, and the instructor that you're working with at the time. and that is the team that you do at that moment for that trail, I think. And that's always good to know. I think when I'm working with clients, I don't think they sometimes take on how important their role is as a MISPA or trailer or runner, whatever you refer to them as. And that's equally important, because if you have somebody that ad-libs on a trail and it makes it hard for the dog, when I say ad-lib, they take a turn, or they don't go where you ask them to, or they add a bit more onto the trail because they think, oh, I want to test the dog, and that dog's really good, so I'll just add a bit more on, or without telling the instructor, so we're unaware of things and where people are going, then obviously that's going to affect that team's training performance, and then you would unavoidably add to a potential plateau. So every element of the team is equally important to go forward and to trail. For me, that's my opinion anyway. So
yeah, you've got the dog, the handler, the instructor, the trail layer. That's a minimum of 4 factors before you even start the trail. So plateaus can come from a variety of issues or a variety of components from the trail. Like I said, no trail, no, you can't do anything without a trail layer. If you haven't got a good instructor or instructor that understands you coaching you, you're not going to get very far. If you've got a dog that you don't understand, you're not going to get very far. And all these little components need to align in the skies and get right. And that can be hard work. But I think it all kind of starts with you understanding the little subtleties of your dog in the start of man training, like Joleen was saying about, you know, dog's here, you're here, and you never really get to the point. I don't think you ever get to the point where you are at the same level. I always think at one point a dog's ahead or behind. I think there's always a point where you're like this. I think you're very close to it, but I don't think anyone gets the dog out and goes, we're gonna fucking smash this world's never gonna go wrong, because no one's that cocky. I don't know how you feel.
I thought, I have to say,
yeah, then you hit a plateau and
I thought I'd reached it and we were bang on as a team, and then I get a trail laid for me that's harder or in a different environment. We go from wood to urban, or there's a distraction of a sausage roll from Greg's on the floor, which is the usual for River. I
don't know, she did really well the other day when that rat tried to get her, and after we thought she was going to fuck up with that, and she still carried on trailing, so she's better than you think.
Yeah, there's been moments where I thought I was equal and on par, and we were bond, and like, don't get me wrong, when I say we're bonded and we're a team, we are a team, but it's just not, for me, I haven't felt it. Obviously there's other people on the chat, and feel free to post your questions and stuff, and if you've got any comments to add in, we're just going to waffle on about training, to be fair, because it's something we're passionate about. So it's if you guys have experienced a plateau, have you experienced one, have you not experienced one, chat to us about it, unmute yourself, you can chat, put questions in the boxes, yeah, so interject, because it's basically a chat about it. The more we discuss it, the more people are going to be aware of it, and when people are aware of it, it then becomes just a plateau, apart from it's not going to be, oh, my dog's awful and I can't trail anymore, I need to get another dog. So yeah,
you just have a dog and you trail 3 and wonder why you're knackered after
I know, yeah, why I need a new back.
Why am I knackered? Yeah, has anybody else experienced it, or has anybody got a questions? I mean, we kind of come to naturally to the end. I mean, we could talk about it over and over again, but the general premise of it is it's normal. It's really normal, and it should actually be happening to you. Paul, I experienced plateau in line handling. We're struggling to come, struggling, but coming out of it now. Tracy, comes as Paul.
I think the line handling one's a real big one, because you don't come out the box knowing how to line handle in every scenario, in every place that you lay a trail, whether you're doing path work, off piste, whether you're doing urban, there's just no set rules.
Yeah, and it's learning your dog, especially got different dogs. Like obviously I trailed with you guys the day we met up as instructors and we trailed. I have never dropped my line. I have never dropped my line trailing. I dropped it twice because he was going that fast, and he was accurate, but up until that point I've never dropped my man trailing, and I dropped it twice on a session because he was that fast. I physically couldn't stop the line fast enough. It just went So I'm letting line out. I'm like, yeah, I've got loads of line, gone. Luckily, my dog, it stopped and we was in a safer environment. And it wouldn't have happened. The environment it was in made that it wasn't a problem, but it shouldn't have happened. You know, as me as a handler, all I could think on my back was, I dropped my line, drop my line, drop my line. And it could have been dangerous. These things happen. That's a plateau in my handling. I need to be better at doing it, because in that environment, in that forest environment where I couldn't see my dog because of the ferns, I couldn't line handle correctly because I was too busy worrying about where he was when I couldn't see him, and I wasn't thinking about 10 meters in my head. And that's it. Janet, I think I reached it when I just couldn't read a sort of body language, end up micro-analysing. Oops, sorry, it's gone off. Hold on. Hold on a second. Ends up micro-analysing. Tons of videos when she was on the trail and off trail has helped. Yeah, videos, fabulous. I video basically every trail. I send it to my students and it's for them. It's not to go on the bloody internet. I hate the internet. It's for you guys to look back and go, shit, I didn't see that. I didn't see that head flick. I didn't see the head lift. I didn't see the dog do a quick scent inventory. And videos are great. They are really worth looking back. Don't get bogged down into them. I see some people like, I've looked into the video, I've seen this. Sometimes your dog's just looking in the bush. It's not always a head flick. Don't microanalyze it, but I think that's a really good one. Videos help. And if your instructor isn't naturally videoing, just get yourself a body mount, stick your phone on. They're not expensive. I've got one client that has one on head mount, which is great, and she just films the trail. So it takes pressure off me filming it or another instructor, and she can look back and listen to commentary and listen to the body language. I know that we film between me and Joleen, when we trail together, we always film the trails and look back when we're working, which is really good. I think Catherine Keatley just put a We Reached Plateau with Eden. I haven't seen a trail for a while. Joleen, did she trail with you?
I've not seen it for a while, but yeah, Catherine, I think basically what had happened is you had reached a plateau, and that's exactly what it is. And obviously working with you as well, and with you and Eden, obviously it was something we just couldn't get our head around, could we? The way it happened. Eden basically come out the box pretty much trailing, and then all of a sudden there was just a breakdown and she just did not want to trail anymore. And that's the other thing to say, and we can lead on to now, is always keep it fun. I know we've discussed about going back, but for me, I like to revisit stuff. Keep the fun in it. Remember why you started trailing, irrespective of whether you're operational, irrespective of whether you're just pet dog sports. Remember why you're trailing. I loved to see how my dog, my stressy German Shepherd, just trailed naturally and was so comfortable and happy while he was trailing, and you could physically see him in his body language. Remember why you started it, and remember that buzz you got when you first started, and that'll get you through the plateau if you reach one. Like we said at the beginning, if you're doing Mantrailing UK, it's generally when we're starting to push you for your assessments. Generally when we're starting to push you for your assessments, and especially going for your level 2 assessment. That's a big one.
Yeah, double blind fucks you over every time. So I'm gonna mine you. Yeah, remember when you started doing Mantrailing because you saw it was fun. You didn't do it for the awards, you didn't do it for the badges, you didn't do it for the certificate at the end. You did it because your dog fucking liked it, and it looked cool and it was fun. And on your intro you went, oh my god, my dog can find a missing person. It's amazing. What do you mean Fred can do this? Fred's thick as shit. No, Fred's very smart. Fred just can't be asked to apply themselves most of the time because Fred's a beagle and does not care. You know, those kind of things. I think Claire's just put something as well. Sorry, bear with my phone. Plateaus in not always Mantrailing. You've had a crap day at work and your head's not in the game on that particular day. Never blame anyone. Just suck it up and try again. Yeah. So like I say, plateaus can come from the handler. If you're having a shite day and you're not watching your dog and you're not working and your stress is going straight down that lead, if you've done any sort of dog training, anybody, they'll go, the lead is a telephone wire, whatever you're thinking goes down to dog. If you're having a shit day, do not fucking go dog training, or only do fun stuff. Change it around. Say to your instructor, you know what, I've had the worst day at work, I don't want to do anything pressurized tonight, I just want to find somebody hidden in the bush, I just want to do a quick trail, go, and that's it. And it's okay to do that. Not everything is about pushing. the longer, the harder, the faster, the aged trail that's 24 hours old with 16 turns in it and 2 dead bodies on it. It's about having shit fun with your dog and coming home with a big grin on your face. And I know me and Joleen had a chat many times about like, oh, go do this, da, 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 da. And then, you know what, it goes fucking tits up. And you come home and go, I can't do it. And actually, you could have just gone out and had a really nice trailing session. You could have just had fun and come home with a big smile on your face, but you just had to push it a bit further. And it's not, we want to do it, but for me, every trailing session is a warm-up trail, a complex trail, and then a warm-down trail, or potentially something complex, but generally warm-down, where we say to that dog, you know what, no matter what happened, you're bloody brilliant. But yeah, we've talked about that longer, harder, faster within Mantrailing.
You sort of get that buzz, and then you come out the box going, yeah, I want to. So my big one was I push my dog to do a single blind kilometre trail. Why? I thought it was going to be good at the time. What did I do? Broke my dog. So then I had to basically put more time and effort into getting the fun back in the game, because I just put it in too soon. And it was in my own training, it was in my own dog, it's not for clients. I wanted to hit a kilometre. It was part of my my training plan. I thought, yeah, if I could do a kilometre, single blind, yeah, fine. And I just pushed him, and it was just too hard, too fast, too soon. And then I've spent more time trying to correct it. And having to put fun back in the game for it, because at that point, yeah, he did it and he achieved it, and that was absolutely fine. And then another one that I had a trail set up recently for me. Somebody else was trailing, instructing me, mentoring me, and realistically, I should have just called the trail off. And instead, I wanted to push the dog through it. I wanted to see how the dog worked it, and the dog struggled. And I knew that basically what happened, a trail was laid through a stream, and by the time I got to do my trail, there was about 10 children in the stream. And I know my dog's safe around children. So I went, yeah, let's see if we can work it. Why did I want to see if my dog could work around 10 children? And yeah, he worked, but he struggled. So why did I make my dog struggle? If your dogs aren't at the level, aren't at that level where they're just accurately going ahead and doing that, then just be mindful that you could just say, my dog shouldn't be working that trail level, and just pull out and talk to your instructor about it, your mentor, whoever you're working with, and not keep pushing, because I felt like I was in the position where I had to push my dog into that, and as soon as I did it, I regretted it, and I came back and I was on a big downer.
Yeah, I think that's important as well. It's okay to say no. I feel like I'm saying some sort of like child crisis thing. It's okay to tell your instructor, I don't want to do that. And an instructor that pushes you shouldn't be pushing you. If you go, you know what, I just want to have fun, I don't want to do anything complex, I know I've got an assessment coming up, but you know what, I just want to trail my dog, then they should respect you enough to go, yeah, you know what, if you want to, that's fine, let's do that. And you should be able to do that in your feelings like that and be able to say it out loud. If you can't say it in person, just drop a message and say, look, I'm not feeling it tonight, I really want to trail, but can we just do some like super easy trails? I don't want to do anything complex, because last time I felt like just a bit worried about what the dog was doing, or I've had a shit week. And that's okay. We do that as instructors. I do that with my students. I go, right, you know what, tonight, not nothing complex, we're just having a really good trail and you're just going to have fun. And some of my students look at me like I'm an idiot, and other students go, yeah, sounds good to me. Fantastic, it's fabulous. I'm going to get the comments up. So in chat we've got Dawn Diego's put, I video now and have found I read him better but still get it wrong at times. Also, last trails I did, my line handling was shite and I found I was getting wound up. He's a forgiving dog though. Yeah, that's fine, that's absolutely fine.
It's just natural, and the way we talk about it, and that's part of the reason we were talking about it tonight, is because it's just a natural. We're all going to have those elements. It's like driving and road rage. You can't, if you have road rage, don't be on the phone to me while I'm driving, then you're going to get possibly frustrated at some times. You're not always going to have your line handling up to scratch. You're not always come out, like Nero's terrible. Sometimes I get him out the van and he's on form, absolutely amazing, bang on, best dog ever. I'm like, I wish we'd gone operational when I knew about this years ago. I wish we'd trained doing this years ago. And then the next time I get him out the van and he's like, nah, not doing it today, whatever. And he'll still trail, but his heart's just not in it. and that's just him, and I have to just accept him for who he is, and that's a good thing too. Just accept the dog in front of you as well. Trail for that level that dog's at, and although as instructors we are going to want you to progress and we are going to want you to go further, but like I said, just speak to your instructor and have a good relationship with your mentor, your instructor, whoever you're speaking to, really. Have we got more comments?
Yeah, we have. Hold on a second. Dawn's added to that. I have a couple of customers who just enjoy it fun. Jolene, driving Norfolk. Don't drive Norfolk, Jolene. I don't want to be hearing
I
swear.
can't do Norfolk. Everyone's so slow.
Emma has put, I plateaued my level 1 assessment a few years ago. I realised I hadn't worked blue around water enough until level 1 trail was set up alongside a stream. Blues were obsessed. We passed, but I felt blue won it for us, not me, but identify what we need to work on and had it go, went to plan, and happens to all of us. So yeah, like I felt on my level 1. I thought my spine was pretty good around birds and things. No, he Misper dies when there was a duck on a pond, you know, and you're going to hit those points and go, I'm shit, when things go a little bit wrong, because you have proved it. And like Emma said with level 1, the dog did it, but if she didn't feel like she got it right, she's plateaued. Emma, you have plateaus as an instructor. I know which Emma is as well. She's like being Joleen, she's very critical of what she does and wants to get it right. And if you can win and go, yeah, I passed it, but it could have been better. Like that was a 70% pass, not 100% pass. I'm the kind of person that's like, oh, I've got 80%, I want to retake it. You still passed, but I want to be better at it. And it's okay. Like you've got to stop beating yourself up about stuff. You've got to stop putting yourself to the point where I'm like, I must be 150%. We're doing it for fun, people. We're doing it for fun. And what is the goal is the dog to come home and go, I found a person in the bush. They had my food and I had my squeaky. And if I hadn't have found them, they could have been lost forever. I was fucking awesome. The dog does not know this could ever be operational. The dog doesn't understand that it's just the stress of the world could end if they don't find this person. They're having a whale of a time. They're finding a person has squeezy cheese in a tub, or in some cases cake in a tub, or whatever floats your dog's flipping boat. It doesn't matter. It's a man in a bush with a food pot full of food usually and potentially a toy involved. The dog doesn't care. The dog's just having fun. And to put pressure on your dog and put pressure on yourself to get it right and wrong is sometimes a little bit silly. It's right because you're learning, but it's a bit silly. Don't panic about it.
It's like me, I'll just do quickly and then we'll do that next comment. My level 2, my level 2 assessment, I can tell you I achieved it. I want to retake it. Why do I want to retake it? Because my dog missed a turn.
Oh, fuck off, Jolene, seriously.
Yeah.
So when I see Jolene,
my blue line didn't match. My blue line didn't match my red line. So although my dog worked really, really well for the scenario and the amount of people that were out, because we didn't go exactly the trail, I want to retake it. Why? My dog's still got there.
Because she's nuts. Because she's potentially nuts.
It's because I'm hypercritical of myself. And if you're that type of person, you're going to just keep analysing all your trails. And to be fair, it's all about the fun. If your dog is not enjoying it and it gets that stressful, basically off the back of that, I'm happy to say I came away going, I can't be an instructor because my dog missed a turn. And that's no word of a lie. I'm hypercritical of me and my dogs. I believe people watch how I train my dogs as to whether that influences me as an instructor. Now, I've got the most fattiest dogs in the world, and that's why we do mantrailing, because they're probably not suitable for normal life if they don't. But when I have a defeating moment, I automatically question my worth as being able to then coach and speak to clients and instruct. And why? My dog's doing what he wants to do. And it's just, you've got to just remember, if your dog's not enjoying it, what's the point in doing it? And that for me, that's the big thing.
I'd just like to, as the assessor of that level 2, it's where the scent went, not the trail went, so fuck off. That's why he missed that corner. And we can analyse what you want. But the end of that day, you had a massive smile on your face. Nero was like, fucking found that person. I was awesome. He'd come all the way back with a bloody grin on his face, born as God, going on the best dog on this goddamn planet. So regardless of what you thought, that dog thought he was awesome, and he knew it.
Do you know what? He's trailed amazingly since.
Yeah, and he smashed it.
Yeah.
He proper smashed that level 2 trail. And obviously we've had issues before with level 2s and double blinds, and we've all been there. Like, we get to the point of your level 2 and you'll work a double blind. The double blind, for those that I don't know, what I'm just going to clarify it is, we're only the MISPA knows for trailers, only the trail owner knows. Instructor does not know, and the handler does not know. The dog never knows. And it's that point where you go, as an assessor or instructor, I can't help you. I can't give you any clues. I'm going to flying fuck know where the person is. Potentially know a general direction, but I do not know where the person is. They're within a 300-meter radius. That's all I can tell you from this starting point. Could be either direction, not any direction. And it's normal to have those feelings, like Joleen's feeling of, oh, but and just remember, sometimes dogs do things that we do not understand. Like, there's this much to know about scent work, probably much larger than that. And I think man training people know like this much, scent work people know like this much, training people know like this much, conservation people, like, and we're never going to know it all because we're not a dog, for starters. I don't, you know, despite what you might be called on a drunk evening, you're not a dog, and we can't study it. You know, there's books behind me, there's fucking hundreds of books behind me. It's probably about 10 decent ones on scent work because we can't study it. So you can criticalize it, you can analyze it, you can go meh, meh, all you want. We don't fucking know what the dog's thinking. We don't know what the dog's thinking because it's a dog. And then you have the whole difference between a bloodhound sense different to a pug. Different kettle of fish, both capable of sniffing. Worlds apart. It's like Usain Bolt versus me. I can't run for shit. Very different kettle of fish. Both humans, different kettle of fish. So it's important to not over-analyze yourself, not over-criticalize yourself, compare yourself to others, is a big one, and not put a negative spin on a positive, Jolene. We talked about putting a positive on a negative. Don't put a negative on a positive. It's just fucking level 2, you dickhead.
It's a good one to bring up, though, isn't it? It's like, it's
if that's how you felt.
The more we talk about it, the more it just becomes a normal thing, and then the more people are aware of it, then it won't. I'm hopeful that it won't affect those in the same way as it did me, and that's the whole point of this discussion.
Because you pass that learning on to your students, then, don't you? We'll just go with the last question that's popped up so far. Chat. We've got users iPhone. This all makes so much sense. Me and Betty have really come on recently, and Plateau is June. I feel like I can handle it better. I'm not feeling I'm totally rubbish and letting my dog down. Sometimes your dog changes their behaviour whilst training, like Betty has changed negative slightly. There was learning curve. I think making a plan for with your instructor for different elements to work on towards is great. I'm hoping that's my Betty. If it is, put it in the comments. And yeah, things change. Dogs, again, what a dog did at the beginning of its man training journey and where it's at now, 2 different things. Because remember, behavior is based on response to the environment or response to what you do, or behavior only happens in response because the dog's expecting a response in some way, whether off themselves or the environment of people. So if the dog's done something different and you've responded, Betty, it's little Betty's a dashing, Betty's little wire-haired dash is amazing, and Charlie's always like nee, nee, nee. And I spent half my life going, no, bad Charlie. It's the dogs will evolve as well. So we said, like, dog gets here, you get here, the dog will do different things. What you had on your introduction as potentially negative or session 5 is not what you're going to see on session 25. Completely different. What Captain does now on session whatever he's in, I don't know how far he's in, I couldn't tell you, is very different to what he did when I first started him at 8 weeks old. I have a young Malinois here who's 6 months old. He will start his man training journey with me because I'm a sucker and he's probably not going anywhere. But he's not Captain. So I've now got a complete, so I'm here, man training journey, I know what I'm doing. Phantom's here. Give it 3 or 4 sessions, Phantom will be there and I'll be here, because it's different. Again, it's completely different training a Malinois or Shepherd. And I'm going to learn him and I'm going to get to here and then he's going to go, I do this now, and I'm going to have to go, oh, for fuck's sake, and catch up with him again. And then I'm going to learn a bit more, and then he's going to catch up with me. So we're going to play this stupid games of never being level again. But yeah, you're going to see changes in dogs' behavior as they get confident as well. Don't forget about their emotions and all of this. They feel ours, but the dog knows when they're on the right trail. Who's I trail with? One of the dogs I trail with has a sassy butt when it's on the trail. Can't remember who it is now off the top of my head. My brain's gone dead. I have a dog. I'm sure it's a shepherd. Oh no, it's a Irish. It's a Spanish water dog. And she has a sassy butt. When she's on the trail, she walks along, her tail up, and she's like, "This is the trail, dickheads. Come along." She looks at us and goes, "It's not a negative. That's to her. Are you following? We've got the right way." And she sasses her way down this trail. She never runs. She never runs. Peasants run. She saunters and sasses down it, and we know she's on trail when she's sassing. When we first started, she's very human reactive. There's no way she would have done that confidence. She would have never shown that behavior because she didn't have the confidence to go up to a stranger. Now she goes, "You bush, feed me." And she sasses her way in, sits there and goes, "Meh, hurry up, you peasant." And that's changed as we've trailed. And it's important that that's another plateau. When you think I can't read my dog, it's not because you don't know, it's because your dog's behavior is potentially changed as they trail.
I think we've got some more questions.
Yeah, come on, I'll get it up now. We've got Hillary Cross put, "My whippet had no clue when he first didn't see the mist run away. He would look at me and say, I haven't a clue. Seeing his resistance build has been fabulous and gives me more pride in my collie who finds it much easier." Oh, that's always a nice one. When you have a dog that's like what I call like a normal non-scenting breed, or like a less motivated dog that goes, "Oh, you want me to do this? Right, okay, I've got this. Are you sure?" And I take a few times to get rewarded, and they go, "Oh, yeah, I've got this." And it's actually a better feeling than, "Yeah, my dog's got the shit," because you will reach the plateau early. You will reach that little negative feeling quite early, so you get resilient to it. But when you have a shit hot dog and you meet that, the 2 sessions before your assessment, that's when you go. So actually, when you've got what people call like a non-typical scenting breed, or like a non-typical man-trailing breed, the more unusual breeds that are perfectly capable of doing it, because every dog has a nose, every dog can scent, you tend to hit plateaus earlier because you naturally, the dog finds it harder. Sorry, my child's moving in his bed and I may have to go and put him down. You find it harder earlier on. You find it, not hard is the wrong word. Your learning starts earlier. Your learning as a handler starts earlier. And that was, as Tilly's put, that was the early plateau. Your dog early on went to you, "I don't know what you're on about. You want me to find a person in the bush with some cheese, but you tell me stranger danger is bad. What?" And you want me to pull on the lead as well.
It's because we count a condition. Hang on, my light are going to kick off. Okay, stop now. We count a condition the dogs so much, don't we? Don't pull us on the lead. Don't go up to strangers. And then we start man trailing. We go, "Yep, come on, let's go. Let's go find that person that's run off in the bush." So often, some people who, and it's like some agility people might find it difficult because they use body language a lot. So the dog will just stand there, like, "What do you want me to do? I don't understand this. Oh, you actually want me to work ahead of you? I'm always used to waiting for instruction. I'm always used to someone telling me what to do and where to go." So again, they might meet their plateau early. So yeah, it's just looking at what the background as well that you've come from, what you've done previously with your dog in terms of training, and then if the man training might, I wouldn't say contradict it, but if I've taught my dog to not work in front of me and always be by my side, and then I go, "Hey, let's go out in front 10 meters," and the dog's going to be like, "Pardon, you what?" So it's just that plateau might be getting the dog into the game to start with.
That plateau might hit on your introduction.
Yeah.
But the dog goes, "What are you on?" Like you say, you're not detraining, you're applying a different context to certain bits of training, and the dog goes, "What?" And until it's associating the harness with man trailing,
Yeah.
we go, but we generally, as a rule, don't pull on the lead, and we certainly don't drag. Depending on the dog and the training. I mean, usually a collie a bit more like focus on their owner, or a staffy or something like that. Usually a spaniel goes, "Do you want me to pull and run and sniff?" "Oh, thank God." Meow. As the owner gets dragged down the bloody hill or something. Have we got any more questions, guys?
Yeah.
I'm aware it's a Friday evening and we all have better things to do. No, we don't. You don't have anything better to do than talk about man trailing.
Have we got anything else to discuss? I think we've covered all the points. I might
I think
have
we covered
to
all the points.
go because my spaniel has decided he's worked out where the cat food is and brought me a present. So
That's epic. He's just bringing you more cat food.
So yesterday I found him in the garden eating a packet, and now he's obviously clearly worked out he can get to it. So today he's brought it me, I'm assuming possibly to open. So I'm now conscious that there's
Excuse me, mother, could you open the cat food for me, please? Thank you.
there's a 40 packet box of cat food somewhere that he can obviously get to. So yeah, this might end well.
What I would say is embrace the basics, think there's foundations. Don't play the blame game, just have a breather, it's going to be okay. Plateaus are normal, really normal. Ask for help. If you're not sure, turn to your instructor and go, help. And know yourself as weaknesses. Where do you fuck up? Is your line handling bad? Are you a hothead? Are you overly sensitive about getting things perfect and the blue and the red line? Remember, Mantrailing's what we're doing. It's not what we're doing is for shits and giggles. It's about having fun, and you piss down the piss wet rain in winter because you love it, not because you want the certificate, because you bloody love trailing your dog. You come out in the cold. You moan when it's too sunny to trail because you can't trail your dog, not because you want the certificate, because your dog enjoys it. So please, plateaus are normal. They happen all the time in training, whether you man train or otherwise. But just enjoy your dog. Come on, just enjoy your dog. I don't know if you've got anything else to add, Joleen.
No, I think that sums it up good. Just like I said, just discuss plateaus, just discuss your training plan with your instructors, with your fellow handlers that are there at the time. That's always good to discuss it when you're in your group and you're standing around waiting for your trail. If you want to discuss it more with them, discuss how your trial went, things like that. So just the more we discuss it, the more it becomes natural, the more it becomes normal, and the more people that join the sport won't have the same like sort of negative, but well, potentially negative association with it. Right, can you sit still, please?
She says to the spaniel with hope.
Like probably jacked up on 2 packets of cat food. Yeah, just discuss it, and it is just normal. It's just normal, and just go with it. But have a plan for your training. Your instructor should have a plan if you travel with one person regularly. But as a handler, you can have a plan. You can also take charge of your plan and just discuss it and have a bit more thought about your training. And the more you think about what you want to achieve with your dog and where you want to go, and you enjoy it, and the more you and your dog will grow and reach the levels that you want to achieve or that you don't want to achieve. Oh God. That's
Good
me
evening,
over
ladies
now.
and gentlemen. Go and enjoy yourself. I'm going to finish my gin. I'm going to potentially walk my dogs because it's cooled off enough now, but not that they're that fussed. They're all fast asleep and they don't move. Jolene's going to go and rescue a cat food.
Can you go away?
You go away. No, bless him.
I've got
He's gonna
Nero
rescue the kitten.
jumping up me and trying to jump up me. Wilson's trying to jump on Nero. I'm just like, oh God.
It's all off camera. We love you. Are you on a Zoom call? Are you doing something? Are you concentrating on something?
They say don't work with dogs and animals and kids, isn't it?
Yeah, well, look, I got mine well trained, but they did.
Oh God, I wish. I'm going to let mine go now and you'll hear the ruckus.
Mine are dead. He's got to release a kitten. He's a problem. Like Johnny.
Right, if no one's got any other questions, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you have been able to take something away from this. and just sort of learn that it is just all natural, it's all part of training. And like I said at the start, it's not always related to Mantrailing, it's any form of training, whether it's training you do as yourself, like your quote at the start, Catherine, or training your dog. It's just all perfectly normal. So have a good Friday. Thank you all for joining us.
Have a lovely weekend in the sun, guys. You won't be doing much training, but you're doing lots of sunbathing. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.
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 Oh God, hold on.